Subtle changes spanning generations, or a shift in the wind, a body dormant underground. This world is right.
Welcome to Onward Live, a live stream focused on encouraging you to create a life you love living now. Let's go beyond success to significance. Being clear on our why is crucial. It requires doing the inner work, finding ourselves, getting to know ourselves, embracing our inner child, shedding social conditioning, and letting go of perfect. We know obstacles make us stronger. We can dream big and take action. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. I invite you to tune in every week and engage with me and my inspiring guests. Invite your friends. Let's make time for what matters most in our lives. Let's move onward together. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Onward Live. I'm happy to see you here. I see some comments in the chat. Hi, Tim. Thank you for joining. Yeah, and you say, great to see you. I've kind of been out of pocket a little bit. I haven't been on social media that much lately because I actually went on a really fun trip this past weekend. I went cross-country skiing for the first time, snowshoeing for the second time, and then hiking. And it was such a fun weekend. And then I came here I'm staying in Old Town Alexandria with a friend of mine while I'm attending and speaking at a Navy event. So I'm really enjoying it. And I've just been busy and haven't had time to get on social media and check posts. And I see all my notifications. It's like, I can't keep up. So I know you guys will forgive me. So, and somebody said hello from Facebook, and I can't tell who that is, but thank you for joining. I appreciate everybody who watches this live stream. So tonight's guest, I'm really interested to learn more about Paul Szyarto. And he grew up a childhood completely different from mine, a rough childhood on the streets of New Jersey, and just sounds like, without guidance in a home filled with dysfunction and an abusive father. And I just can't imagine. And then what he's done with his life. I want to talk to him about, learn from him about how he went from that childhood to where he is now and what it means to him to create a life that he loves living, because I think it's different for all of us. A life that I love living isn't the same as what Tim would want or what Maria Thorpe would want. Hi, Maria, I see you here. So let's bring Paul in and learn from him. So let me see here. I am going to, I don't have Pearl here. Pearl is normally my producer, my dog. So I'm visiting somebody. So she's not here to help me out. But I can bring Paul in like that. And there he is. Welcome, Paul.
Hey, Emily, how are you?
I'm doing great. Your story is just amazing. And I'm really looking forward to learning more. I really enjoy having, hosting so many different guests and learning from them, in fact, the event that I'm attending this week for the Navy is on diversity, equity, and inclusion and belonging. And, one of the things that we discussed today is that the way we learn is through experiences. And I can't really experience what you experience, but I can learn from your story. At least I can get a better understanding. So talking to people that have stories and backgrounds different from us helps with understanding, right?
Oh yeah, I absolutely agree. So it's you gain experience from hearing about experiences. So
yeah. So tell us about yours. I'm sorry, about how you we don't have an experience, we just met. but how you grew up and
well, I as you stated in your intro, I grew up probably very differently than most of your audience members, yourself, and probably the majority of people out there. So I grew up in 27 plus different locations throughout New Jersey. We moved very frequently, sometimes 1 to 3 times per year. My father was a pretty abusive alcoholic, and my mom was, I consider my mom a single mom, because my father was never really there to support us through the crazy times, and yeah, I mean it was just every year, every day, it was just another round of chaos, and it just escalated to a point where when we were 12, my father came to our house one night and knocked on the window and just started to open fire in the home. And my mom was there. I mean, she ensured that we were all safe, and we went through the chaos now of recognizing that my father tried to commit first degree murder, and not only through trying to come to the house himself and shoot my mother, but he hired a call it a hitman. I don't know what you would call it at the time, but he hired someone to try to murder her. He went through different other avenues to try to get rid of her. And by the time I was 12 going on to 13, he was arrested. He was locked up in Rahway State Prison. I don't know if anyone knows about Rahway State Prison in New Jersey, but that is where they put the hardcore, inmates. And I remember at 13 years old, I had to testify against my father
Oh my
for what he did. So from 13 to 17, my mother met a gentleman named Michael, and he essentially didn't adopt us, but he adopted us in a way where he took it upon himself to say, hey, these are now my children. I'm going to raise them the way they need to be raised. He's he was very accomplished.
Oh, all of a sudden I can't hear you. Hold on. Can't hear you. It was like when you moved. What a childhood. Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine. Let's see. Let me welcome some of the guests. So Ronald from Maryland is here. Hi, Ronald. And we've got, there's Ronald and Maria Thorpe. Oh, thank you, Maria. I was great at the presentation at the event. Thank you very much. And then we've got a Facebook user saying hi, and then Anthony Reed. You may know Anthony. I don't know if you do, Paul, but hello, Emily and Paul. It's great to be here. Thank you guys for joining us. So can we hear you, Paul? Let me see.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, well, all right. Well, I don't know what just happened to my headphones. My headphones just died. So
Okay.
I apologize for that.
So you were saying that the new man that your mom brought into your lives. I mean, how many brothers and sisters did you have?
So I have two brothers, an older brother and a younger brother. So yeah, my stepfather came in. He more or less adopted us, and he's a practicing dentist, had his own practices, and next thing you know, he was trying to put us on a path of just going from chaos to stability, which was also another major transition because, when you're in life and you're running, countless times a year, you're trying to figure out how to survive. You're trying to figure out how to, acclimate to school environments, trying to figure out how to, be social with people when you really don't know, and then he kind of came along and he tried to put us into a place of stability, which also created chaos because you're used to doing all these things. And it's like, oh my gosh. So now you're trying to live a different life. And that caused a whole nother series of issues. So
I would think it would be like, I mean, I don't know, even though you had that challenging, that situation with your dad, when this new guy comes into your life telling you what to do, I don't know, as a teenager, trying to be your dad, that's got to be, I'm sure that's tough on a child too.
Yeah, it was really challenging. I mean, it's, you get this new person who comes in out of, pretty much out of nowhere. And, you're used to, having this, this monster of an individual in your life. And now you have this gentle person who's coming in and, trying to get control of three kids that, just weren't normal. We were suffering from PTSD, from depression. And then, we all went down our different paths, more or less. My brothers went down their path. And by the time I was 16, 17, I was actually quite depressed. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have much direction. My mom did her best. She worked her butt off, when my father was around. And then when my stepfather came, she actually broke her neck. She slipped and fell. She broke her neck, and she was out of the picture for another almost 2 years. So it was pretty crazy. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, how is your dad now?
My biological father?
Yes.
He's deceased. So he passed away March 7th of last year, March. So last year. So it's been about a year now.
Relationship with him?
Huh?
How was your relationship with him? After he got did he get out of jail, or did he pass?
He did. I mean, it's so what happens is it's kind of chaotic because you learn to this person who is by blood is your father, family, who abused you all your life, and next thing you know, you're in this situation where actually I didn't speak with my father for a really long time. He called me out of nowhere after probably 15 years of not speaking with him. And he left me a voicemail, which I still have on my phone, saying that he was dying of cancer. And he said, "Paul, this is your father. I'm dying. I need your help." And I'm like, okay, so now he needs my help. After all this time, all this chaos that he put us through, now he needs my help because he's in a situation of, he's afraid to die. He has no one there to help him. He has no support structure. So what does he do? He turns to his son, who he abused growing up, to try to help the situation. So yeah, so I actually went to see him, supported him through his death, and the past is the past. I recognized him as my father and moved forward. So I was there when he passed away, helped him sell his business and everything. So,
wow. And how's your mom doing?
So my mom is actually, it's interesting with my mom. My mom she had a really tough childhood too. So growing up, it was more like she saw my father as as individuals that have gone through abusive relationships, and through, abusive childhoods. They more or less they gravitate towards what they know, towards abuse.
Yeah.
So she met my father, and my father was abusive. And instead of running away, she stayed within a relationship because it was what she knew. That only amplified the PTSD and the challenges that she had. So throughout my life with my mom, by the time I was 17, I actually went into the Navy. So go Navy. My mom and I were fairly close when I was away. And then when I had my first child, things started to get very rocky. And it wasn't the fact that, we had a bad relationship. It was the fact that she grew up never being, appreciated or told she was good enough in life. So when we had our first child, it was difficult because we're learning as we go. And, anything she did wrong, she was like, you point that out. You're like, oh my God, what are you doing? You can't do that to our first child. So she took that the wrong way, which created challenges with our relationship. And then I actually didn't speak with my mom for some time, and my younger brother also had some challenges that, created, just additional obstacles within a relationship. So,
Wow.
But I am happy to say, over the past month, I did go to see my mom. We reconciled, and it's last weekend I had a pretty good bonding time with her. So it was good.
That's awesome. I mean, so Tanya's here from Maryland, and then Kenny D is watching too. So I appreciate everybody who's watching tonight. And if you have any questions for Paul, please feel free to post them, and we'll make sure that I ask him. So How did you move forward from that PTSD and the relationships with your father and with your mother? How did you reconcile all that? How did you move forward? Did you get counseling, coaching? I mean, what did you do it on your own?
Yeah, something I didn't get formal counseling or coaching. What I did was I joined the United States Navy, and at 17 years old, and as a 17-year-old kid, having your mom sign off for you to join the Navy, I mean that's also very impactful, And I got into some trouble. My mom pretty much signed me off to go into the Navy, and pretty much 2 months after I turned 18, I was off to the Navy. So, and I will say that, it's the military. Are you ex-military?
Yes, Navy.
So you went a slightly different route. You went officer track versus enlisted track, which I will tell all the listeners it's very different. So OCS versus enlisted boot camp is I'd say it's two very different worlds. And when I went in at 18 years old, we had a RDC, recruit division commander, that they didn't care. They wanted to push you. They wanted to, at the time, mentally and physically abuse you. It was really tough. And what's interesting is because of my past, I didn't see it as abuse. I saw it as a normal scenario. So everyone else was really struggling, and the RDC saw me as like this rock. Like, oh my God, this guy's like he's amazing. Look at him. We can't break this guy. And I remember my main turning point in the Navy was I was standing guard watch, and anytime you stand guard watch, the RDC comes in, and right away they start asking you questions, and they want you to fail, because then they're going to do what's called a beating, physical training, until you give up. And I remember they came in, they started questioning me, and I was like, okay, here we go, here comes the beating, and they beat me for probably an hour and a half. And I remember the RDC sitting there yelling at me, asking if I was stupid, if there was something mentally wrong with me, and I remember saying to him, I was like, "There's nothing you can do that I haven't gone through before." So, and he looked at me. He's like, "Wow, you're pretty effed up," And then I remember like having a tear, and all he did was hug me, and he's like,
Wow.
Prior to this, you were challenged, and don't worry, we're going to fix you. We're going to make it better. And I remember that was my main turning point when, that leader, essentially embraced me from an emotional standpoint versus just the physical beating, and said, "Hey, don't worry, we're going to take over now. We're going to rebuild you." And then I put everything into the military, and then from there, that's where I really did my main transition. So.
Wow, that was an amazing leader to do that. Because I mean, I don't know. I didn't go OCS. I went to the Naval Academy, but I can't imagine anybody when they're yelling at us like that. No one gave me a hug or anything, but that was really good. That's good leadership to tell you it's going to be okay. I mean, it's not about beating somebody down. It should be about working together. We're in the Navy, we're working together, right? I mean, I
Yeah, well,
understand.
that. I mean, the Navy's about building elite teams. And
Yeah.
for those out there, I mean, wondering what the military is really about, it's not about, physical training. It's not about going out there and winning a war. It's about learning how to collaborate and succeed as a team. That's what the military is really about. It's about, building a model, building a template of excellence that allows, the differences of many to join and build one path that is the same. When you hear this, the saying, an army of one, it's because we're all so different, and it takes those, really strong leaders from the military, and even it doesn't matter the rank, everyone's a leader, and we just have to step up and understand that we've all been through something, and being a team allows us to get through the next challenge and almost anything. So
What did you do in the Navy?
I went into the military as so this is a funny story too, because I remember I was going to join the Marine Corps because my dad was a Marine, and I was just about to sign, and I remember the phone call came in. It was my uncle, who was a senior chief of the Navy, and he goes, "Don't sign that paper. Go talk to the Navy." And I was like, "Sergeant Ski, I have to go speak with the Navy." So, and I was going to be a infantryman and a barber. Yeah, barber, right? In the Marine Corps, and because that's all I knew. And then I went into the Navy as I get to the recruiter, and he goes, "You scored like 96th percentile on the ASVAB." And I'm like, "All right, what does that mean?" And he goes, "You're going to be a nuclear engineer." And I go, "All right, I'll be a nuclear engineer." So I actually went into the military as a nuke ET, working on nuclear reactors, and then I transitioned into advanced electronics, which is pretty neat. So and finished my tour of duty in Naples, Italy. Doing electronics and terror tracking and stuff like that. So it was pretty neat.
That's awesome. So you did 4 years?
I did 8 years.
8 years. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. So Ronald Henderson says something in common, Navy and forgiving people. Yes, because my kid's dad, my former husband he was an alcoholic. He wasn't nearly, like yours, but he just recently passed away from cancer, and we went through forgiveness and,
yep.
I think that's important about moving on. It doesn't mean that you, condone everything that happened, but, you've said, it seems like you have some compassion for your dad and how he grew up and what he went through, and your mom, right?
Yeah. They didn't have it easy either. So, and that's the thing is, I think it takes a really big person to recognize that there's the model of cause and effect. My abuse was caused by his abuse, and abuse typically follows a track. I made a decision that, I'm going to end the line of abuse. So
was it just as easy as making a decision
to
as end far as line of abuse? I mean,
yeah. I mean, I didn't want that for my life. I didn't want that for my kids, and I didn't like it as a kid myself to live in fear. So why would I want anyone to live in fear? So,
yep, that's awesome. How many kids do you have?
I have 3 children, 16, 13, 11. So girl, boy.
Awesome.
They keep you busy.
So after the military, you've gone to Oxford and Wharton.
I did. Yeah.
How did you do all that? I'd love to hear that.
Well, here's the thing. I'm actually in law school right now. So, hence all these books in front of me. How did I get to I actually went to, so in the military, I did an MBA in the military at Cameron University. And I remember having one of my first companies, and I would hire these top tier 1% MBAs. And I remember one of them mocking me, saying that I didn't get a real MBA. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm the one who's calling the shots. It's my company. But I'm the type of person that I believe in the saying, achieve the unachievable. And you have one life to live, so I'm going to live it. And I remember turning to my COO and I said, "Hey, what's the best school in where should I, if I'm going to do another MBA, where would you go?" And he goes, he started naming off Wharton Business School, this, that, and that. And I'm like, okay, I applied to them all. And then I got into them all. And then he goes, the best school out there is Oxford. And I go, I'm going to Oxford. And he's like, Oxford's in England, you idiot. I was like, okay, how am I going to do this? So I actually applied to Oxford, and I was accepted. And I spent 23 months flying back and forth between Pennsylvania and London. And I would drive 2 hours up to Oxford, and did that for 23 months. So, yep. I know.
So you said you got your MBA when you were in the Navy. So that meant you got your undergraduate when you were in the Navy too.
I did, yeah. So I
So
did an
in 8 years,
undergraduate.
you went to nuke school.
I did. I went to nuke school. I did two. I went to AECS, Advanced Electronics Technical School, AETC, whatever. And then I went to. I did my undergraduate in Human Resource Business Management. Then I did my graduate studies, and I was like there's 24 hours in the day, and that's one of my philosophies. You need to sleep for 6. Leaves 18 hours to really kick ass and produce. We would work for about 8 hours, which left me about 8 hours to produce. So I would have a part-time job, and I would also go to school. So I did a fast track for my undergrad, and then I did a fast track for my first MBA. Then while I was doing my MBA, I did a second undergraduate. Then when I got out of the military, I did my second master's degree in project and program management. And then I went to Wharton's AMP program. It's a highly selective advanced management program. They select 65 people a year. I was selected. I did that. Right after that, I said, hey, I'm going to the best school. Signed up for Oxford, got in, and spent 23 months doing my second MBA. So I actually have 2 master degrees. I have 2 undergraduate degrees. And then I started a series of doctoral activities. I tried to do a doctor of law with Northeastern. It was boring. It was too easy. So I canceled. I tried to do a doctor of technology at Purdue University. It was too easy. I knew more than most of the professors. And then I was working on some legal activities, and I had a lawyer that told me I couldn't do something. So I found a lawyer that could do it. And then I said to the lawyer, next time I'll just do it myself. And they said, you can't do it yourself. You don't have a JD. And I go, you'll never say that again. So I applied to law school, got into law school, Franklin Pierce Law School out in New Hampshire. It's a top 4 IP school in the United States. Was accepted, and I was actually driving back I actually applied on vacation. I turned to my wife and I go, I'm going to apply to law school. And she's like, hold on, what? And I applied, and the dean called me and said, hey, if you're going to really do law school, you have to take your LSATs and your GRE over the next 2 days. So I turned to my wife and I'm like, I got to go study. So I went, I studied, I took the GREs remotely, scored considerably high, submitted to the dean. The dean called me and said, hey, you've been accepted to Franklin Pierce Law School. So I'm almost done with law school, actually. So yeah, so I'm a slight overachiever. So
if somebody told me I had to take the GRE in the next 2 days, I would panic. No way. I don't like taking tests like that. I don't do well on those kind of tests. That is amazing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I do things like that just to disprove people. And right now, I'm building a $1 billion company. I'm going to law school full time. I have 3 kids.
And a wife.
Yep. So I know it sounds like a lot, but I'm very good at time management. So
yeah, I mean, well, you're clearly very smart. I mean, how do you have like a photographic memory?
I'd say it's a partial photographic. So the thing is, here's a philosophy with school too. It's like everybody says like law school is the most challenging, one of the most challenging schools you can actually go to. I would say they're correct if it was right after undergrad. So if you're going from undergrad to law school, the subjects and the complexity behind the models, it is far beyond, someone's capacity who lacks experience. However, if you have experience, you can create correlations to what you've done. And, it makes it like, honestly, I'd say law school is on a scale of 1 to 10, it's probably a 4. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't think it's overly challenging. I'd say for someone who has experience doing contracts and civil procedure and, some in the criminal space and so on, just from a exploratory standpoint, it's not so bad, So, but there's a lot of reading. They give
I
you
was
this,
gonna
like
say,
this is just 3 of the books because I double up on my classes. This is 4 classes.
double up
This
on
is
your
only 3 of them.
classes.
So you got to read these and pretty much memorize these books. So I have a pretty good memory when it comes to the cases. So I'll rip through the cases and then I'll have instant recall on the tests. So
Yeah, you clearly must have, in my opinion, just what I'm observing, like really excellent comprehension. Like you can read fast and you comprehend it and you remember
yeah, it's just fun. So you gotta take it as fun. If
it.
you enjoy it, everything's easy when you enjoy it, right?
That's true. I don't enjoy the same things you do.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like you just have to make you have to find. See, this is a key thing for your audience because
Mhm.
Never Broken Mindset is about never allowing yourself to be mentally or financially broken. And here's the interesting thing about like this model. When I was growing up, we didn't grow up with a lot. So what you do is you try to make turn a negative into a positive. And I know that sounds really stupid and corny, and everybody says that, but there's a lesson in everything. And if you think about it that way, if you think about the challenge, for example, the challenges with law school, what has law school done for me? Law school has actually helped me to almost perfect my time management skills. And it's almost helped me perfect my ability to research. It's like there's a negative. Yeah, it stinks. It's a lot of work, but I don't see it as a lot of work. I see it as an amplifier to help me through the next stage. That's what you have to see. Like every obstacle is an amplifier to help you through the next obstacle.
Yeah, you find the gift or the opportunity and stuff. You
It's
can
only
focus on the
yeah,
negative
it's
stuff.
only a gift. It's only an
Yeah.
opportunity. Like it's like everything we do is great. I just had COVID too, right? So I had COVID, and I always tell people, I'm like, I went on the C19 diet. I was able to lose 25 pounds. So, you know,
You found the gift or the opportunity
yeah.
in
So I
that.
mean, it opened my eyes to a lot of things. So
And I guess even you found the gift or the opportunity, an opportunity in how you were raised that helped you get through that challenging time in the Navy.
yeah, I mean, the Navy's tough too. You know that. So Navy was not easy.
Yeah, well, I'm sure, especially for you as enlisted in nuke school.
Yeah, nuke school. I'd say the advanced electronics school was tough. So, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, so what are your expectations then for your children?
I just want them to be happy. That's
Mhm.
it. So, I mean, me going to law school makes me happy. So, if they want to go to art school or, be garbage men or women or, go play an instrument or, be the next, rocket scientist or CEO, yeah, I'm supportive, whatever they want to do. So,
Well, we've talked about school, but you actually, you have a job too, right? I mean, you just said
I don't have a job actually.
no,
So,
but you're helping build a $1 billion company.
I invest my time. So,
You
so
don't call it a job.
that's a
You invest it.
philosophical difference because a lot of people have jobs. And the thing is, I don't work for a living. I don't work to get paid. I invest my time to build wealth. So, and again, same thing with going to school. What we're doing is we're investing our time to build wealth of knowledge. And the more knowledge we have, the easier life is going to be, and we can capitalize on that value of time. So,
So when you invest
yes.
your time to build wealth, what does that look like?
I I honestly have fun every day, working with great people, great assets, and my main role is to help take good ideas or good companies and identify the gaps within those companies that's preventing them from being great companies. And I start by doing an analysis, kind of a gap analysis where the companies exist today. And then I build a framework or roadmap to help them progress to, maximize valuation, amplify their valuation to get the most out of what they're doing. So,
And these
um,
are just like, I mean, I could pull up my phone and list all the companies you listed when you sent me. I mean, these are big companies that
yeah,
you're
these are
working.
big companies. Yeah. So, I say we're working with a really neat company now, Boss AI, which is it is the first commercially available federated machine learning solution that's out there. They have invented a way that allows you to do predictive analytics on the edge, which is no one's doing this. Everyone has to centralize data to do these complex analytical models and these learned models, but they have figured out a way to do it decentralized through measure transmission, and it's just highly, highly complex. The team over there is just filled with just brilliant people, and they've given me the honor to help them progress to the next level, which is really neat. So,
how'd you get into that kind of work?
Not
that it's work. How did you get into investing your time that way?
There you go. I like that attitude. I would say that my portfolio is pretty diverse, and the models that I've created work across the board with all verticals, all types of businesses, and I got into the world of artificial intelligence, big data, cyber, by just through the military was one, and through organizations that I've built myself and supported. And I'm also a lecturer for several universities on the subject. So I've actually built programs around big data, AI, and so on. And, they saw that, they leveraged that, and, it put me in the position that I was able to get into. So,
have you worked with any companies that have tried to do business or done business with the federal government?
Oh, every single company we work with does work with the federal government. Actually, we started a company called A2E, which is a GCO, a government contracting organization that actually supports other organizations with gaining access to government funds. So they walk you through the model of working with the GSA, the SBA, the different government entities. They walk you through a model on how to gain access to government commitments, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, I mean, because it can be kind of challenging. It's overwhelming.
Oh my God, it's so complex.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw, but I used to be the director of the Office of Small Business Programs for the Department of the Navy.
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
So I do know how challenging it can be to find opportunities and to
oh my God, it's
get a
so
return
challenging.
call and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's really tough. So, wow. What are you going to do with your law degree?
I'm actually going to open a law practice. Yeah, so I'm gonna, because the thing is, the PPS Group, the organization that I have is it's a pretty diverse, organization that has like investments, acceleration. We do marketing, we do, sales, brand acceleration. And the area that we're lacking is legal services. So I will add a branch to my organization for legal support. So I'm already working on building the law practice.
So when you say, I wrote down something that you had submitted to me, you've got over 20 years, you've helped 1,000 companies, maximize their bottom line. And you say through people, processes, and technologies. And I'm really interested in the people part of it, especially I think this week, because this week I'm attending for the Navy and spoke at yesterday an event on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we talked about the Great Resignation, and all this stuff. And I'm just wondering what you have to say about all of that. Like 4 million people, I think it was, left their jobs.
Yeah.
How are you advising companies, or what are the good trends that you see with companies that are really focused on people?
So here's something really neat for your audience. Go to askboss.ai. And I am doing a presentation, a webinar. I think it is March 10th, a Thursday, on the Great Resignation. We've actually built an algorithm that helps organizations identify talent and how to accelerate and to support talent within organizations. So to minimize the Great Resignation. So it's actually pretty neat what we've done. So Yeah, I think what's happening right now is it's really interesting because the traditional mindset has, there's now a paradigm shift within society. I think COVID has actually changed how we think, and those with a traditional mindset and traditional way of functioning and creating labor forces, that has been completely, transitioned. Those that are not allowing a transition to remote, distance, collaborative models that are focused on the individual versus the organization, they are going to be extinct. They are going to be completely disrupted over the next 3 to 5 years. And this is the beginning, the great resignation. I think what you're going to see is you're going to see more of this. You're going to see the great resignation. Then you're going to see the great automation. Then you're going to see the next stage and the next stage. So it's going to be I think people are just not happy that organizations aren't shifting. They're not transitioning. And you have companies like, Amazon, Facebook, all the big tech that are saying, hey, if you want to work from home, we understand you. If you want to be focused on family, we understand you. We know you can be productive on your own time versus our schedule. We'd love to have you work with us. So I think they're, able to transition out of a traditionalist mindset into these new, more tech-driven modern mindsets that are really, it's like society is now, this is the demand. There's society demanded. And if you're not going to fulfill that demand, then someone's going to do it,
Right.
So, and they're able to offer you even more money because they have low overhead. So because everybody's working remotely. So
you said the great automation, and then you said, and whatever's next. So what's next?
Well, I think what's happening is this is really the domain that I'm getting into, artificial intelligence, machine learning, neural networks, because what's happening is, I think you're going to see a transition of the labor force where now you're seeing a transition based on society-based demands. We want to work from home. You need to, abide by our demands, or we're going to quit and we're going to find somewhere else to work. So the thing is, those jobs have to have backfilling or automation. And if there's no human capital, what are you going to do? You're going to figure out ways to automate process. And I think you're going to see the next big phase is going to be automation, where an individual that was doing processes 1 through 10 will now be automated through technologies 1 through 7. And then we can do more with less human capital. Then I think you're going to see the next phase of, call it artificial intelligence and machine learning, where it's not just automation with repetitive process. Now you're going to have, models that actually learn, and, we can actually do your job better than you can do your job. And we can actually learn how to do the job better than we programmed the application to do it before. So I think that's going to be the next big thing, is that you're going to get down the path of, these machine models that are learning as they apply. And the more connections we have, the faster they're going to learn, and the more they're going to displace human capital. So I think you're going to see over the next 10 years a real major shift in human capital to automated, automation and machine learning. And if people don't if they're not proactive, they're going to miss out. So, new jobs pop up, but, you're going to see a lot of displacement of human capital over the next 20 years. So
we got some questions in the chat that I'm going to ask, but I'm thinking about what you're saying, and then I'm looking at the title, Never Broken Mindset. So how does someone whose jobs might be, they might be out of a job because it's going to be automated, they could have a mindset that, my life's broken. How does this never broken mindset apply to them?
So I'm going to give you perspective. I start a major educational program every probably 4 years. So, and right now, as I said, this is law school right now. Why am I in law school? Not because I want to be a lawyer. It's because law is a traditional industry that is ready for someone like me to come in and disrupt it. So I'm not going to practice law. I'm going to disrupt the market of law. And I want to create automations. I want to create learning models that essentially displace a lot of lawyers, because and I'm not looking to, get rid of all the lawyers in the world. The problem is the price of law is very high. So it's actually unattainable by many. So how do you fix that? You create automations and you decrease the barriers of entry for the common person in society. So that's what I'd like to do, is create a lot of automation, a lot of like information, kind of like LegalZoom. LegalZoom is like the first step. But now, how do you take it to the next level? I'd like to take it to the next level. So what you need to do under a never broken mindset is, don't be reactive. Too many people are reactive. Everything is based on trying to understand where the moving parts are, and you should be planning every day. You can't be content. Too many people become content in life. They go, I have a job. I've been here for 20 years and my employer is going to take care of me with my pension. That's the probability that happens is actually pretty low these days. So you can't rely on others to take care of you. You only have one individual in life that you can rely on to take care of you, and that's yourself. So what I highly recommend is, how do you minimize disruption and displacement? You get knowledge that is irreplaceable. You gain assets that allow you to develop wisdom, and you can now more or less dictate and define where you're going to be. So you have to watch the puzzle pieces moving, and you always have to adapt and adjust and be ahead of where the next move is going to be. I mean, that's your goal. So don't be content. Don't sit around and watch 5 hours of TV every night. Don't put these down when you get home. Pick up a book. Join a program. Go get a certificate. Knowledge is power, and anything you can do in the world of technology. And here's another thing too, for this great disruption and displacement, you're going to actually have people that will have to train the machines. So think of that. You should be learning, instead of learning Italian or Spanish, learn how to code, learn some, general machine language. So it's like, that's all I could say is don't be content.
Yeah, that's awesome advice. So let's see, looking here. Oh, Maria says, I love the conversation. So here's a question for you from Maria. Looks like you have led an interesting life. What has been the most rewarding aspects?
My children. So getting married to my wife, who's my best friend, and having 3 kids that are just, they keep it young. So I play with my kids every day. And here's a key thing too. People say, oh my God, you must work 25 hours a day. Actually, I don't. I've learned models to amplify my production, my output with less time. So in the beginning, I would work, 15 hours a day. Now I'll work 7 hours a day, 6 hours a day, and what I can do is I can get more done and accomplished by being very efficient at what I do and delegating to the teams I've built. And that gives me time to spend with my kids, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Maria has another question for you. Are you a mentor, and who has mentored you?
I am a mentor, and you can. I actually have an organization starting called Mentobo, mentobo.com, and it is all about mentoring and progressing your inner entrepreneur. So that kicks off mid-March, and it's really cool. A lot of content. And it provides all the tools that an entrepreneur needs to succeed, all the benefits you need. So if you need health insurance, life insurance, it's all in there. And it's really, really cool and cheap. And it gives you discounts to like 10,000 different access points. But yes, I am a mentor. I'm one of the mentors of Mentobo. And I have been mentored by everyone, from my lowest paid and newest employee. They mentor me every day, to the most senior person that I get to work with. So everyone in life is a mentor. Everyone will teach you something. My 11-year-old son teaches me something every day. So
that's awesome. So Rob says, companies want more and more out of you. They just don't care. They're burning out their employees. What do you have to say to that?
I would say you are probably right, Rob, and this is why we have the Great Resignation, because what happens is, this is another challenge that I saw during COVID. A lot of companies didn't take into consideration the psychological, the physical effects of what happened with the pandemic. They were pushing, and most organizations, they equate success on bottom line margin and margins. They go, wow, we're not making enough money, so we have to push our workforce, and they don't take into consideration the psychological and physical effects of what we just went through. So that's why you're seeing this Great Resignation. That's why you're seeing major turnover. I would say that's not all correct, because organizations like mine focus on the impact generation per person, not just how much you work. I don't want people working 20 hours a day. I want people working, the amount they need to work to actually generate the impact that benefits them and us, So if we can teach people how to, operate and be efficiently productive, then you're now creating an engine that works. The problem is most organizations don't invest the time in their employees to create efficient productivity. So this is the failure point with a lot of these traditional mindsets where, companies like the Facebooks. And so I really admire the tech companies, a lot of the tech companies, because they're allowing people to be themselves. They're allowing them to really explore how they succeed. And they're trying to amplify the lifestyle model with that lifestyle mindset to really, get the most impact out of them, versus you need to be here from 8 to 5. That's stupid. That doesn't even make sense. I don't work 8 to 5. I work when I'm feeling productive,
Right. Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if you got a coder that wants to work at 2 a.m, okay, let them work at 2 a.m. Just let them be free with how they produce. And your goal as an employer is to understand everyone produces a different way. Your job as an employer and a leader is to amplify how they can produce for you and recognize what they're producing and how it affects your organization. Because if they're not affecting, they're in the wrong business. So
yeah, amplify that. And also, like you talked earlier about Good to Great. I don't know if you've read that book, but it's like making sure that the right people are in the right seats on the bus.
Yeah.
Put people in jobs where they can use their strengths, right?
Oh yeah.
And where they really love it. And then it's not even a job. And then you're in flow. And then life's awesome. And then you're productive, right?
Emily, I want to have people that work with me, not for me, who do exactly what I do. I wake up every single day just a happy guy who's going to go make change. That's it. I want to go out and have fun. If I had everyone that works with me with the same mindset and they can have fun and create impact while having fun, then I have a great company.
Yeah. So what are some, so I thought to myself when I retired from working for the Navy in 2019, I said, I knew I wanted to be a coach. I really like helping people. And I thought, well, what am I going to coach on? I know I'm going to coach on how to get a lot done, because I'm really good at managing my time and getting a lot done. But I've evolved since then. And it's more like, I think we also need to pay attention to who we're being while we're doing. Because I have a hyperachiever mindset. It's like, and when you have that, sometimes your relationships suffer because you're all focused on getting stuff done and being productive. So how do you look at that? Who are you being while you're doing?
So that's an interesting statement. I don't see myself as creating detriment within the relationships that I have. I see myself as surrounding myself with people that want to thrive as I do. And that's a key difference. Like if you're creating a detriment within a relationship, then it's the wrong relationship. So don't surround yourself with people that see you as a as a overachiever and, as a negative. You should surround yourself with people that see you as an overachiever that I'd like to be one day, and they should be inspired by your ability to produce. And it's not about, production isn't about nonstop every second of the day. Impact is about, making a change with everything you do, whether it's making your kids smile, whether it's, helping someone who's in need, whether it's, working for an organization that's challenged with gaps, whether it's going to law school. I mean, these are all impactful steps in life. All my comment is, don't not create impact. You can, sitting and doing nothing. Sometimes we need to sit and do nothing, but that creates an impact to your mind, and it allows you to release, so always see the impact in what you do, and then surround yourself with people that want to, just impact the world. So.
Yeah. And that's in some organizations you can do that, and sometimes you can't do that.
So then you're in the wrong organization.
You have to move. Yeah.
So that's a key thing. Is like, if like, you shouldn't live for an organization. You should live for yourself, and you need to wrap yourself with the right organization.
Yeah, I agree. So what is, so this shows also about creating a life you love living now. And I explained earlier why I feel that urgency, because you saw your father pass away. I saw my kid's father pass away just a few years ago. And I feel like he died with regrets over the way that he lived his life. He didn't talk about it much, but so anyway, what is living a life creating a life you love living? What does that mean to you? What do you love about life? Your life?
I love getting up every day and like seeing my kids happy and people around me happy and succeeding. So it's like, it's not about just me progressing. It's about being able to freely make change. That's what's really neat. So it's, I told my wife I want to live forever. And she's like, well, what does that mean? I said, I may not be able to solve the puzzle on physically living forever, but I know that I am here to, make enough change where the memory of me will live forever. So, if I can't physically be here forever, then, I'll take the alternative and make enough change where you guys can't get me out of your head. So.
That's what, one of my guests said, beyond success to significance,
Yeah, right.
So, yeah. So a couple more questions here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Rob says, why are companies so picky on who they hire now?
I think it really depends on perspective. I think what's happening is companies are getting more intelligent with how they select employees. So I don't think it's that they're more picky. I think that they're just more intelligent. And what they're doing is, most companies do not have human capital reviewing resumes anymore. It goes through an automated system that does keyword association and job description association. So I think when you add that layer of automation layer, the technology is actually is scrutinizing the submission more. So I think the it's not about the company being less, more picky. I think we're just becoming more intelligent regarding what we know we need and how we're searching for it. And, when we search it, we can filter based on these hyper personalization characteristics of an individual, then we can pick exactly what we want versus settling for what we thought we wanted. So.
Okay. And Ronald says, as accomplished as you are, so relatable and wanting others to be successful. That's all.
Thank you, Ronald.
Well, wow. Oh, I do hit keywords. So Rob's saying he hits keywords, but how important is it, to know somebody in the company or whatever to bypass that system of automating?
I think it's absolutely critical because, here's the thing. I mean, it's, I'd say keywords are challenge number one. Challenge number two is also integrating with culture, integrating with, the vision of the organization, the mission of the organization. it's, organizations aren't just skill based anymore. They're looking for individuals that are far beyond what, skill based. And, do they have this degree? Do they have these skills? Do they have this checkbox for experience? They're looking for individuals that actually meet cultural and, their interpopulation requirements now. So, Facebook hires a certain type of person. So they really do. You have to.
Networking is important.
Oh yeah. I mean, and that's the thing is like, you have to get above and beyond your resume. So having a network that they can see that you have beyond the written skills, that you're relatable, that you fit into their culture and so on, I think that just gives you another check mark to progress to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I can't believe it's already 8:30.
I know, right?
I learned so much from talking with you. You said you've been on other shows. What is the question that I should have asked that I didn't?
I think you asked plenty of questions that were very good. So,
Okay.
So it's, if you ever have another question, you can always invite me back, and I would be happy to answer those questions.
Okay. I really appreciate you being on the show, Paul. Yeah.
Absolutely, Emily. Anytime.
Okay. And I'm going to put you in the green room and run my outro video, and then I'll be back just for a second.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thank you, everybody who joined us. I really appreciate all of the comments, the questions, and the engagement. And this will be published as a podcast soon, and will reach more people. So thank you, everybody. All right. I'm going to put Paul in the green room, and then that means I have to put this overlay on. And I'm learning how to use this. Restream is what this is called. So thank you, everybody, for watching tonight and for engaging in the conversation. I really appreciate you all. I'm going live again next week. Wednesday nights at 7:30 is my time to go live. And I wanted to make a post here too. This is Paul's website. So that's how you can reach out to him, through his website. And you can also go to my website if you wanted to learn a little bit more about me and my coaching programs. I'm a coach, so we didn't talk about that a lot tonight because I like highlighting my guests, but I also want to say that I am a coach. If you want to reach out to me, I'd be happy to talk with you. So thank you all, and I'm going to play my outro video, and I'll see you guys next week. Have a great weekend, everybody. Onward Live is sponsored by Emily Harmon Coaching and Consulting. Visit my website, emilyharmon.com, to learn more about me and my coaching programs. I'd love to help you create a life you love living. Remember, every adversity is our own personal university. Sometimes the lessons are difficult, and we must learn from our experiences. Vulnerability is your superpower. You are lovable and worthy. And we discuss these topics and more because professional is personal. Thank you for joining us and engaging with me and my